All right, today we're jumping into something called design thinking. And look, I know it might sound like just another buzzword, but it's actually a super powerful step-by-step method for innovation. It's built to solve some of the trickiest, most complex problems you can imagine. So let's get right into it.
So let me start by asking you this. How do you solve a problem when you don't even fully understand what the problem is, right? It's these kinds of messy, ambiguous situations where design thinking really shines.
So, what is it really? Well, at its heart, design thinking is all about being human-centered. The whole goal is to find that perfect sweet spot between what people actually want, desirability, what we can realistically build with technology, and, of course, what makes sense for the business financially.
Now, this isn't some kind of magic trick. It's a real, proven process. And today, we're going to walk through this exact 7-step roadmap that takes you all the way from a vague, confusing problem to a concrete plan of action.
Okay, let's kick things off with the first phase, which covers steps 1, 2, and 3. This part is absolutely critical because it's all about making sure you're solving the right problem. I mean, think about it. The most brilliant solution to the wrong problem is totally worthless.
So, and this is crucial, you don't jump straight into solving things. You have to start by just observing. You go out and watch your users and their natural environment to see what they actually do, which is often completely different from what they say they do. This is how you uncover those hidden pain points they might not even be able to explain themselves.
And this is where you see that observation pay off. You might start with a really broad, tangled problem, but after watching real people, you can sharpen it into a focused, human-centered target. It's like going from a fuzzy, out-of-focus photo to a crystal-clear image.
Think about this quote for a second. When you reframe the problem correctly, it does more than just make things clearer. It literally unlocks possibilities that were completely invisible before. Getting this right is what swings the door wide open for real innovation.
All right, so let's see how this all builds. Now that we've got a much better problem to solve, we need to go even deeper and develop real empathy for the people we're designing for. And that's where steps 4 and 5 come into play.
Step 4 is when you bust out some powerful tools to make sense of everything you've seen. The process actually requires you to use at least 2 of these, things like empathy maps or journey maps, to really understand the problem from every single angle.
Let's take the empathy map. This tool is amazing because it forces you to look past what a user says and instead map out what they might be secretly thinking and feeling while they do something. That gap, between their words and their actions, that's where the gold is. It's discovering a customer says they want faster checkout, but their actions show they're really feeling anxious about making a mistake. See? Solving for anxiety is a way better problem to tackle.
So once you've organized all your observations, it's time to talk. Step 5 is all about getting out there and having broad, open-ended conversations to dig into the stories, the motivations, and the frustrations behind the behaviors you've already seen.
And listen, we are not talking about a couple of casual chats here. This process demands some serious rigor. You need to conduct a minimum of 30 interviews across at least 3 different groups of stakeholders. This is how you make sure you get a complete 360-degree view of the entire problem space.
Okay, you have done the hard work. You've dug deep, you understand the problem, and you truly get the people involved. Now, and only now, is it time for step 6, unleashing your creativity and generating a ton of potential solutions.
Now, to make brainstorming really work, there are a few simple but super important rules. The biggest one? Withhold all judgment. Seriously. At this stage, it is all about quantity over quality. The goal is to create a safe space where the wildest ideas are encouraged and everyone feels like they can build on top of each other's creativity.
But it's not complete chaos. After that storm of ideas, you bring some order to it by systematically classifying everything. Tier 1 ideas are your quick wins, the most likely to succeed. Tier 2 ideas are promising, but need a bit more work. And Tier 3 ideas are the long shots, the moon shots, that might just inspire something else entirely. It's about finding the method in the madness.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most exciting step, making your best idea real. Step 7 is where the abstract concepts you've been talking about finally become tangible solutions that you can put in front of real people.
And hey, a prototype doesn't have to be some complex, expensive thing. It can be as simple as a storyboard drawn on a piece of paper, a basic flowchart, or a quick digital wireframe. The only thing that matters is making your idea tangible enough for someone to interact with and give you feedback. A really great tool for this final stage is something called the napkin pitch. It's just a simple, one-page summary that forces you to be super clear about your big idea, the need it solves, how you'll do it, and why it makes sense for the business. It's all about clarity and focus.
So, there you have it. We've walked through the whole 7-step process, all the way from finding the right problem to actually planning a real solution. But what's the big picture here? What does this all really add up to? Here is the most important takeaway. Design thinking isn't just a checklist you follow. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about developing true empathy for your users, being willing to constantly test and improve your ideas, and, most importantly, having a bias towards doing things instead of just talking about them. So, I'll just leave you with this one final thought. Now that you have this framework, what messy, complex, and important problem are you going to tackle first? Thanks for joining me for this